Hello everyone, welcome to the Bozeman Monologues. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Paul, I'm co-president of Students Against Sexual Assault here at MSU. Thank you. We're super excited that you all are here. Thank you so much for your support. We have some incredible performances tonight, and I think you're going to like it.
And I'm Laura. I am the other co-president of SASA.
I'm Dana. I'm the vice president of SASA, which mostly just means I get to hang out with these two awesome people all the time, which is really great. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight, and Paul's going to tell you a little bit about the Survivor Fund.
Thank you. So, all of you paid for a ticket tonight. Thank you so much for doing that. Actually, all of our proceeds tonight go directly to the Survivor Fund, which is a monetary resource for survivors of sexual assault and interpersonal violence in Bozeman. And it's been utilized a lot this year, so we really appreciate your contribution. Some of the uses it's been used for have been replacing a pair of clothes taken for evidence during investigation. Maybe purchasing a bus ticket for somebody to leave a bad situation, like a domestic violence situation. So all of this really matters, and we really appreciate your help.
Okay, so like Paul just said, SASA's main goal is to raise money for the Survivor Fund. We've been really lucky this past year to partner with some amazing community organizations. In particular, we'd like to give a shout out and big round of applause to Bridger Brewing and Sweet Peaks Ice Cream. Okay, so some of the monologues tonight can be pretty intense, and some might be triggering for anyone in the audience who has experienced something similar. So we have our amazing Voice Center advocates. They're in the back with yellow shirts, if you guys can stand up and wave. Back there. So if at any point during the show you are feeling a little overwhelmed or you need someone to talk to confidentially, you can step out of the theater and a advocate will follow you out and you can talk to them. If you're just going to the bathroom, they might still follow you out, so you might want to wave them off.
Awesome. And along with that, as you guys can probably imagine, it can be really hard to stand up here and share something that's really personal or painful from your experience. So if you guys could just please give your full attention to each of the performers, including turning off your cell phones or any other devices that might be vibrating in the audience tonight. Additionally, we would like to encourage you to open your mind to ideas that you might not have been exposed to in the past. It can be uncomfortable to hear things that make you that you might not have been exposed to or that make you a little bit uncomfortable, but we just want to have this event tonight so that we can bring those topics out of the shadows and have a conversation about them that continues on past tonight.
And without further ado, let's give it up for our first performer.
All right, I'm going to paint you a picture. The year is 2008. The month is November. Barack Obama has just been elected president. Britney Spears is starting one hell of a comeback. And I am a nervous sixth grader nearing her 12th birthday. On a Friday night 10 years ago, I've just been invited out to a movie with a big group of fellow preteens. The message comes in ablazing on my super cool purple slide-out keyboard phone, written in all caps. Twilight tonight, you in? The sender was a nice girl from my class, and I was thrilled just to receive a text on my 2-month-old cell phone. My excitement soon turned to nerves and my stomach dropped. New friends? Vampires? Going out without the supervision of my mother? What would it be like? This isn't a Pixar movie. Would I get kidnapped? Would I embarrass myself in front of my new friends by crying in this movie like I did during Cheaper by the Dozen too? So, sheepishly, I asked my mom if I could see the movie. She'd read the books and thought it sounded like a nice group. As she sat on the couch and bought my tickets online, she very casually said, "Caroline, remember that more people in this town know you than you may think. Act with care and make sure your friends do too. I may hear about it if you don't." You see, I've lived in good old Bozeman my whole life. My mom grew up here as well after her parents established their place in community. Her words to me were merely a more personalized version of make good choices. And boy, did they stick with me. Like, I went out to karaoke the other night as they turned over in my head. Now, did they stop me from belting out Shania Twain's That Don't Impress Me Much? Of course not. In fact, I think Mom would have been proud of my solid delivery of the crossover hit. 11-year-old me took everything far too seriously and was easily frightened. I walked from the car to the theater, now Town and Country on 11th, as butterflies buzzed in my stomach, and the words, "I may hear about it if you don't," ran on a loop through my head. What is now what I hope to be a healthy balance of caution and planning in my current self was then 20 ounces of pure red-hot anxiety. Eventually, I met up with my friends as I smiled big, straightened on my Aeropostale t-shirt, and tried to hide my nerves. We settled in, and my worries subsided. The worry came back, though, for two reasons. Reason number one, Robert Pattinson. A group of older teens near us shrieked every time our Pat and his sparkling abs were on the screen. Everyone in the theater was so annoyed, and at this point, Mom's words were at their loudest in my head. Didn't they know that their mom's friends might be watching them right now being the literal worst? I was so worried for when they would all return home. But then we get to my biggest worry of the night. Reason number two, and this one's a doozy. Kristen Stewart. You see, 11-year-old me didn't know much about myself at the time. I knew I loved to read books about ancient Egypt, I could rally pretty well in a tennis match, and I loved to trace Calvin and Hobbes art. What I didn't know as I sat in a theater surrounded by fellow preteens was that as Kristen Stewart stuttered on the big screen, I was having my eyes open to how beautiful women are for the first time. I was terrified, and I was excited. The Screaming Girls had their dreamboat, and I guess I had mine too. And while I didn't want to yell about her, I did want to hold her hand and, ask her what her favorite color was. I wasn't sure why, but I did. So I quickly put my little crush away in a dresser drawer in my heart and tried to hide my nerves. I quickly put my crush away in a dresser drawer in my heart and looked for a boy in the 6th grade to tell my friends I had a crush on. Now let's fast forward to the fall of 2011. I'm an equally nervous freshman in high school, and I play the timpani drums in my school's concert band. On the first day of class, a girl with a tenor saxophone walked into the room. And my first instinct was to giggle, and I hadn't the slightest clue as to why. She sat right in front of me, she wore cool band sneakers, and had really kind eyes. And as I tuned my drums, it hit me. Oh shit, am I gay? I prayed to my queer Jesus from the back of the band room. Dear K-Stu, I don't know what's going on. I'm so scared. I don't want to be seen, and I don't want people to know how I feel. Can this go away? Gay men. Like amen, moving on. And the answer came not from Kristen Stewart, but from the rest of the world, loud and clear. Of course not. You're a pretty queer girl. Figure it out. And with that, I did my best to figure me out. Over the course of high school, I worked through the labels of bisexual and gay. I had a girlfriend during my junior year, and I managed to keep it all pretty quiet. But nothing seemed to fit right. I came out to my family, messily, and we all worked to be a little more okay with it with each passing day. Now, as a junior in college, I'm the comfiest I've ever been in my sexuality. When I was younger, I felt the need to bring the gay factor up to everyone I met because I was so worried that who I was a red flag waving in the wind. I worried that by not being straight up, har har, about my sexuality from the get-go, I was being dishonest and unkind. After I finally realized the amazing group of people I had behind me in my corner, I found I didn't need to be so tense about who I was. Being queer in my small town hometown is, to this day, scary as hell. I walk downtown and I wonder about the people I pass, if some of them are my family's acquaintances, and whether or not they've been clued into the fact that I'm a queer woman. I wonder if some of them are looking at me, feeling sorry for my mother, or worrying. And then I wonder, does it even fucking matter? So, as a 21-year-old woman who doesn't worry as much, I often grab the shoulders of my 11-year-old self. Sometimes I shake her and tell her to snap out of it, that it's okay to not find Channing Tatum cute. I tell her to not be so scared. And then other times, I hold her and I look her in the eyes and I say, who you are is up to you. You don't owe anyone any explanation, label, apology, or your life story. Be mindful of the people and stories around you, but make sure that you narrate your own story as it's being written.